In this video, we're going to import a DWG into our project. First, pick Project, Import Export, and choose Import Layers from DWG DXF. The very first thing we need to do is create a target package. In the process of importing a DWG or DXF into our QGIS project, we need to create a geo package. This is storage to store all the data that comes in from the DWG, such as lines, points, and polygons. It's all stored within one particular file. It's called an OSG geo package. These geo packages are great because you can transfer them from user to user and it keeps track of all the data within it. So first of all, let's create a brand new one. The extension for the geo package is GPKG, and we're just going to call this one import. Import.gpkg, and we're just going to put it on the desktop in this case. So now that we have a target package where we're going to put the data importing from the DWG, we now have to set the CRS, the coordinate system. So I'm going to hit select CRS. In this case, I'm choosing the one I've used in the past, the NAD83 UTM zone 10. For this particular map, you can see there's a red zone in the map showing where this particular data is. You can see it's on the west coast. We could do that. So we choose 2619 and hit OK. So the first step we did was the target package. The second step was the CRS. That's done. Now we have to pick the import. So pick import and browse to our desktop. Go into the exercise files. For importing DWG, under data, we're going to import the parcels 2013, Nanaimo parcels 2013. The reason we're choosing 2013 is that I have saved this DWG in an AutoCAD 2013 format. The reason I did that is at this time, QGIS cannot import the most recent, which is the 2018 format. So I had to save one version back to 2013 in order to import this DWG. So let's choose that. Now, one more thing, it's going to be importing all the entities. So it goes through all the text, all the lines, all the blocks, and so on. As it does that, you'll see the list of entities that are being processed in the top. Now you can expand block references. Now there's no blocks in this particular drawing, but if there were, what it does is it basically is the same as hitting explode blocks. Now the term explode is an AutoCAD term. In this case, we're saying expand block references. What that means is it takes a block, which is in GIS would just be a symbol, and explodes it into its component parts. Normally, you'd want that block to stay a symbol or a point. The other checkbox you'll see is use curves. That means use the arcs within the drawing. So then we have to say what layers we want to import. In this case, we're going to bring in 0 and parcels. Let's uncheck def points. We don't want that, but we want 0 and parcels. Let's bring that in because I think there's some text on the 0 layer. Before I can hit OK, I have to give a group. So I'm just going to call this parcels DWG. So that will appear in my layer legend, and 0 and parcels will show up. So let's hit OK. And there are my parcels. And if you zoom in, you can see the text. Let's expand the group called parcels DWG, and you can see there's 2 layers. Now I can rename that 0 to something like PID text. Like that, because that's what it is. I just renamed that particular layer, and then there's text underneath it. Now, absolutely, this text is points that have been labeled, so it looks really close to what's in the DWG itself. And you can see they stay the same size as you zoom in. In fact, they disappear until you zoom in and see that. So each of these pieces of text, these PIDs, that's the PID for each object. Now, if I were to pick on any of these objects, you can see, if I hit identify, you could see the data about that. You could see that's a piece of text, what layer it's on, and so on. So it's extracting all the data from AutoCAD. So if we pick on one of these lines as well, let's make sure the polylines are highlighted. There we are. So you can see that I've picked the polyline. There it is. And you can see the thickness, the visibility, transparency, the color from AutoCAD, the layer it was on, and so on. And whether it was a block or not. You can even see the AutoCAD handle. So that's very powerful. So let's close and identify. There you go. So you saw that I picked, let's click on text again. You can see there's the identify results for text, highlight polylines, pick on a polyline, and there you are. You can see the data. Now, this data originally had object data. Now, object data is an AutoCAD map or a Civil 3D term. I had to strip it away, otherwise QGIS would not be able to import it. So there's no object data on this. It's just basically a piece of text and a line imported from the DWG. So remember, the DWG has to be in 2013 and it does not have any object data on it. Also, even though these P lines are closed, they came in as a line and not as a polygon. Later on, we'll learn how to take these closed P lines and turn them into polygons within QGIS. But this process of importing through the project import-export is the only way currently to get DWGs into your project.